Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Technical Area Podcast. My name's Jason, and joining me tonight is
Lee
and
Rob.
Right, if you've ever listened to any of our previous podcasts and recognised any of our three voices, you will have listened to the Five at the Back podcast. To explain why we've changed and for this season we've got a new little look about us, I'm handing you over to Lee Hurst.
As you know, if you listened to it before, we ended rather abruptly around February time. So we're going to have a new kickstart now with this season. We won't let you down again like last season and end it very abruptly. We've got a new look lineup this year, so we thought with a new lineup, new season, why not a new name, logo, everything. If you're still followed to the Twitter, you'll still be following the Twitter. If you haven't already, it's now the Technical Area PC. Please do give us a follow. If you listened to us on YouTube before, if you were subscribed, you're still subscribed. Once again, it's just a change of the name. If you're not subscribed, please do. It will be, once again, the Technical Area. No PC this time on the end, just the Technical Area. Just Technical Area. We'll also be seen on iTunes. Once again, you may have to resubscribe if you haven't subscribed again on iTunes. Once again, that'll be the Technical Area. Technical Area, and we'll also be on any good podcast service.
So, now that's all cleared up, we can start talking while you're really here. I'm going to start with Mr. Robert Jonas. Rob, it was deadline today in the United Kingdom. What's your thoughts on our window closing before everyone else's?
Well, I think it's a strange one because all the other clubs have got a few extra days to buy players when we've not now. So if someone comes in with one of our players and they offer big and they go, we haven't got time to get another player to replace him. We have to wait to January time.
Lee, do you agree, or do you think that it could be a positive thing for our game? Or?
I agree that maybe the transfer window should have ended before the season starts, but what I'm not okay with is as Rob said, now all European, it should be a universal thing or not at all. If Europe decide, if all of the European, everyone in UEFA decides as well, the transfer window will end before their season starts, then yes, it's fine. But as you say, it puts clubs in the Champions League and the Europa League, European football, at disadvantage almost, because they don't have a chance to strengthen if they realise something's wrong, when the European teams do.
Good. Both of you make very fair points, pro and con. However, at the same time, for me, it's a positive because everyone starts the playing field at the same time. If you get what I'm saying, you don't have that mentality of we'll see how the first couple of games goes. If it's not working, we'll fix it.
That's been a lot of the lower league clubs, not lower league, sorry, like lower table teams, that don't have the financial power of the big six. Say, oh yeah, but it puts us at a disadvantage if Man City decide after a game or two that they need someone else, and they can go out and splash the cash on that. But doesn't it give everyone that same opportunity? If Wolves decide after one game they need someone else, can they not go out and sign that? They've still got the same money restrictions as they did before the start of the season. Still that the big six can outpay them. So what's the difference if it's before it or after? Before the first game or after the first game?
Yeah, it's a very good point. But like I said before, I think we need to have the same closure as everyone else. But I think it should be before the season starts. Because then, like I say, if you have a couple of other games, you can't buy anyone. You've got to rely on your players you bought in, and then wait to January where you can strengthen.
Right. So moving on from this, if you have a thought or suggestion about that topic, about if the window should close early or not, feel free to comment on the YouTube or tweet in at us. Lee, moving swiftly onwards. Who for you has been the best and worst signing? Start with the best.
Best signing? I'm going to go for a weird one. I think John Michael Surrey at Fulham. You look at it, this was a player a year ago was linked with Arsenal. He was linked with Man United, I think, at one point. He was linked with Chelsea.
He was. And
now has been snapped up by Fulham. And if he plays well, he could be an absolute difference maker for Fulham. In a team when they've just come back up from the Premier League after, is it 3 seasons they were down? 4 seasons?
I think it was 3, yeah.
3 seasons. And he could be the difference between them staying up and not, because he is that pivotal of a player, I believe.
Do you think, though, if he plays consistently well, like to the form that he's been showing to get the Barcelonas, the Man Uniteds, the Chelsea's interested, do you think he'll be there come January?
Yeah, he'll give them at least a season. Name another instance that you can think of that a player has spent 6 months at a club that has signed in January and left, signed in the summer and left in January.
It's a fair point.
No player does that.
It's a fair point.
Unless they fall out of the club.
Yeah, exactly that.
Apart from that,
not on actual playing reasons.
no. But if you're struggling and you're at a club that's struggling, no one's going to buy you anyway.
No,
They're not going to come in for a player that's struggling. Say like Fulham's down the bottom, can't win the game at the moment. You're not going to have any team that's going to come in and want to buy him.
No, exactly.
Do you agree with Seri, Rob, or have you got another option for best signing?
So I honestly think Addison for Liverpool, because Liverpool have got a great squad, but they're just missing that world-class keeper. Because Mignolet and Karius, they aren't the best two keepers in the world. They needed someone behind back four that can command it and basically probably save them about 12 or 15 points, I'd say.
Do you think it was a bit too expensive to get Brazil's number 2? Like, don't get me wrong, I know Chelsea have signed keeper to keeper for more and he's Spain's number 2, but do you think they've got value for money there, or?
I think these days, like you say, transfers, back in the day, he probably would have been 40 million, 30 million. But the way the prices are on the transfer window now, 70 million, pretty much nothing these days.
It is now a seller's market. It's now a seller's market. The player cannot... Nowadays, it's the selling team that dictates the price. It's not the buying team saying how much they're willing to pay. It's the selling team saying this is how much we want and we are not selling it for anything less. Anything less? Any less? Jason, who do you think's the best sign of the season so far?
If I'm honest with you, I've been impressed over the whole sort of table, really. I must admit, for me, though, I'm going to go a bit sort of left key out of the box here. I'm going to go Max Meyer for Crystal Palace. Very similar reasons to what you went for, Lee, with Seri. With Max Meyer, admittedly now he was a free agent when he's joined Palace. But when he was at Schalke a couple of seasons back, this is a player that he was linked with Arsenal. I think he was with Real Madrid at one stage. He's a young lad. If he fulfills his potential, Palace could have a gem on their hands here. An absolute gem.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one spectrum. Rob, worst signing of the season?
I don't know about worst signing, but I think...
Well, okay, not the worst, most sort of not suitable.
It's a hard one. I think maybe Kyoto going to Palace. Because
who's that, sorry?
Kyoto going to Palace. He's been very lazy for us. It's not really done anything the last few seasons. So for a move to Palace, I'm not sure. I don't think they've done well there. What do you think?
For me, worst sign, not worst, but most off-key sign of the window would probably have to be Rob Green. For me, I think, if I'm honest with you, like as a Chelsea fan, I sit here and I sort of say to myself, we've got Bolka, who is the Polish under-21 keeper, played all of our pre-season games in the International Champions Cup, put in some worldy performances, done a few penalty saves. He's a cracking little player, one for the future, definitely. If we've signed Rob Green to be third choice, we've not loaning Bolka out, why not just have him as our third choice? Lee?
Yeah. I mean, there hasn't been too many sort of... They say you got Rob Green, that was a strange signing, I think. But really, like left field signings. I mean, you've got like, is it Daniel Azani who signed from Melbourne to Man City? I mean, once again, just one completely.
He did have a good World Cup, to be fair.
He did have a
young.
World Cup. That's the thing when you get a transfer window after the World Cup, is the players that look on to have a reasonably good World Cup, clubs look at and go, let's take a punt. Let's take a punt on this player. If he's no good, then he's no good.
Yeah.
If you look at things like, I think, in Arsenal, think of David Ospina. Who had heard of David Ospina before 2014 World Cup?
Same as Keylor Navas and James Rodriguez.
Exactly.
Really.
There's many players that World Cup nowadays, you put yourself on the market. that is putting yourself on the market on the grandest stage.
Yeah,
You have a
true.
good World Cup, you're going to get that big money move somewhere.
But I was going to go back to Jay's point about Rob Green. Like, but he's obviously signed all these really old players. Do you think they should just keep these youngsters playing rather than buying this 38-year-olds, 36-year-olds? Do you think they should have invest in the youth and play some of the youth?
Personally, for me, I don't think it's a case of investing in the youth and playing the youth. Like, Rob Green is going to make all of 2 or 3 appearances this season, unless Caballero and keeper the keeper get injured.
And let's face it, them appearances are going to be in League Cup.
Exactly that. And even if they both got injured, we'd still probably try and get an emergency goalkeeper signing. Let's face it.
I know this might be a little bit of a dig at Chelsea, but they haven't really never been one to bring through the youth, have they, in a way? They always buy instead of playing the young academy players, really.
I'll agree to an extent. We don't bring through the youth to play necessarily in our first team, but you look at Loftus-Cheek, for example. That's one example. He's a cracking little player there. We won't give him the chance, don't get me wrong. Like, this season, it's amazed me he hasn't already gone out on loan. But we're recording this before the deadline day's finished, so I'm not 100% sure if he's gone out on loan or not. But at the same time, as of right now, he's still a Chelsea player. We've just bought Kovacic. We've got Barkley that Sarri seems to like ahead of him. We've got Jorginho, Kante, Fabregas. That's a midfield there that Sarri's going to rate a hell of a lot more than Loftus-Cheek.
The thing with Loftus-Cheek, though, can you loan him out after he had a semi-decent World Cup with England? You know, he didn't play bad for Crystal Palace last season. He actually played quite a good season with Crystal Palace. And then comes back to, has a decent enough World Cup. In the appearances he did make, he played quite well. So is it seen as Chelsea thinking, well, he's now an England international, we have to keep him?
For me,
and give him a chance?
I don't think so. I think it's more of a case of we don't want to lose him and then end up in another Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne situation. Yeah. But at the same time, we don't want to keep him and not play him.
So why aren't you loaning him out? Like you said, if you're not going to lose him like Lukaku or De Bruyne.
That's what I can't understand. For me, I'd sell him on to Palace, 30 million with a buyback clause.
Yeah, what's the point putting him in reserves?
Because at the minute he's going to sit on the bench week in, week out. He's going to lose his England spot.
Yeah.
And then what?
Exactly.
We're going to then sell him at the end of this season for pennies.
Exactly.
More than likely. But anyway, staying on this spectrum of best and worst, team-wise, who do you think has had the best and the worst sort of window, or the Tottenham window, if you want to call it that?
Well, I think West Ham's had a brilliant transfer window. The team we had last year, there was loads of players that we needed to either get rid of or just not play. They just weren't up to it, and I think we've done that. We've brought in Pellegrini. He's a great manager. He's come in. He's known what players he wants to bring in, and we've made about 10 signings this season.
I'll agree with you there, Rob. But you say he's got rid of the players he doesn't think he needs. Have you really got rid of that many players? Well, you look at, obviously, like you said, Kouyaté went to Crystal Palace.
Hugill, he's gone on loan to Middlesbrough.
Yeah, Hugill to Middlesbrough. Collins and Evra got released.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, has he really got rid of that many?
We haven't really got loads, but some of the players we sort of will play backup. There's still players like Antonio that probably will not play week in, week out now, but they are still great backup options.
So you're saying West Ham have had the best transfer window?
I would say so, yeah.
You look at who you've signed. I mean, I almost picked Jack Wilshere there for best transfer, but always the caveat with Jack Wilshere is if he stays fit.
Yeah, that's a big question.
Which is something you can never guarantee with Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere can do what he has done for a lot of seasons, which is show the promise he does have in your first 6 or 7 games, and then get injured and be out for the remainder of the season.
Just so unreliable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's done well with his fitness over the last couple of years, but you've always got that fear with Jack Wilshere.
You've always got the question mark over him.
That one tackle.
It's like when he was at Bournemouth and he tackled Harry Kane and broke his own neck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So who do you think, Jace? Who do you think's the strongest transfer window?
For me, I'm going to go a bit left field here, and Lee's not going to respect this in the slightest, but I think Arsenal. personally. Like, I think Arsenal, like, don't get me wrong, they've not made overly... I wouldn't say, like, they've outshone maybe other clubs in their spending or their signings they have made. But I think under Unai Emery now, he's done what was needed. Ospina is looking like he's going. They've replaced him with a younger, arguably better player already. The defence, the back four, they needed shaking up. That needed a mature leader. And Socrates and Liechtensteiner, they've got 2 for the price of 1. Lucas Torreira, another one for the future. Cracking little midfielder, proved again in the World Cup that he can handle the pressure as well. And just from... I watched the Arsenal-Chelsea game in pre-season. I don't even know how you pronounce his name.
Guendouzi.
Him, the French geezer from PSG.
Yeah.
About 12, from what I understand.
18, yeah.
He's sensational. He's a sensational little player. In that game alone, I think he's one for the future. They've done everything. For me, Emery is the nail on the head there.
I mean, personally, from an Arsenal fan point of view, I'd like for him to have added a winger. I think we needed a bit more pace in there somewhere. Because up front, sort of, Aubameyang, and like I said, it's got a little bit of pace, but Aubameyang's it when it comes to pace.
Mkhitaryan's quick.
Pace, he's quick, but he ain't the quickest. We needed that. We've lost Walcott, we've lost Chamberlain.
Could you have done with that Marco Reus? Maybe.
Maybe. I think we needed a player with pace. The Dembele rumours that came out from Barcelona would have been exactly what we needed. If we'd have got one of them, if we'd have got Dembele, I'd have said yeah. I'd have said we had a great transfer window. Right now, I think we had a good transfer window, but I don't know if we...
For you, who do you think's had the best window then?
I'm going to say Liverpool. Because look at it, Liverpool strengthened exactly the areas they needed to strengthen.
So you think they strengthened... Your argument is pretty much the same as mine with Arsenal. They've done what was needed.
Done what was needed, but they did it with time to spare. They did it with quality players. They went out and signed the Roma goalkeeper, Naby Keita.
Naby Keita was pre-agreed, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's pre-agreed, but he still came in his transfer window.
Yeah. Still a good signing, in fairness.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, and I think that they could be the only team this year that can challenge Man City for the title.
What about Shaqiri, though? Do you think Shaqiri was a worthwhile signing?
Shaqiri is a good backup. Shaqiri is that player. And nowadays, if they want to challenge for the league this year, you need depth. And Shaqiri gives them depth.
They've got a Champions League as well.
Exactly.
Season, haven't they? Yeah.
You need depth in these areas, and that's what...
Who was the guy they signed from Monaco? What was his name? Centre mid. What was his name? Fabinho. Was it Fabinho? It was Fabinho, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was. It's Fabinho, because I remember when they signed him, I thought this could be the next Bakayoko.
No, he didn't go Liverpool.
Fabinho?
He did not go Liverpool.
Oh, my mistake, and I thought he did. If he did
Oh,
go
no, he
Liverpool,
did, sorry, no, he did. He did,
Hey,
completely...
Here we go, here we go. I was right, Lee was wrong. Yeah, that's a question for you, Lee. Do you think Fabinho could be the next Bakayoko or the next sort of Kylian Mbappe?
It's tough coming out of Monaco, as you say. Monaco over the last couple of years have been absolutely raided. There's no other way of putting it. Anytime someone good comes out of Monaco, they are snapped up right now.
Thomas Lamar's another example.
Thomas Lamar, exactly.
Atletico Madrid.
Goes to Atletico Madrid, Mbappe, Bakayoko. Anyone who has a little bit of promise at Monaco nowadays, yeah, exactly, just get snapped up. And it's a real mixed bag. There is no way of knowing how these things are going to turn out. Everyone thought Bakayoko was going to be an absolute... going to turn the world on fire. And he didn't.
Tell you what he did turn on fire. The temperature, a lot of Jody Man's attitudes towards it. Anyway, moving on. Worst team in the transfer window. Who had the worst window? Had a complete and utter nightmare other than Spurs.
I was going to say, because if not, yeah, we'd have all been in agreement.
We've all been agreed. I like Tottenham, I must admit. I do like the way they play football, but I think Pochettino's had a nightmare there. I think, admittedly, they have got a good little side, but with the Europeans having this time to potentially snap up out of Varel, Dembele, Rose, Ericsson, these players that are like vital to their team,
they focused.
They've missed a trick there.
They focused too much on... Well, maybe they had to, but they focused on securing the players they do have, signing Harry Kane to new contracts, Harry Kane and players like Harry Kane to new contracts at the expense of signing players. Now, I don't know if that is because of the new stadium, limited funds, so they chose to prioritise contracts, but we don't know. I mean, yeah, but if you're looking at worst other than Tottenham,
there's a lot of teams that haven't really done much.
no.
Like, I can't think of many teams really you'd stand out and go, actually, they've had a brilliant transfer, or they've done well, they've signed the players they needed to.
Yeah, I mean,
So Rob, then moving on, who would you say, like, just literally on a one-word answer from everyone, worst window? Rob?
I want to say Huddersfield.
Huddersfield. Who does Huddersfield bring in? Lee? I've got it
Huddersfield,
open, yeah.
yes.
Can't remember them
Let's
bringing
have a look, see
anyone.
if they brought anyone in, because I don't think they did either off the top of my head.
No,
Huddersfield brought in, I've got it up here, they brought in Ben Hammer from Leicester,
Okay.
Terence Congolo from Monaco, Ramadan
Sobi,
from Stoke,
good player.
Juninho Bacuna from Groningen. I apologise if I pronounce any of this wrong.
You just insulted half of the very popular French team there.
Yeah. Jonas Lossi from Mainz, Eric Durm from Borussia Dortmund, Adama Adama Diakabi, I'm going to pronounce it, at Monaco, and Isaac Mbenza at Montpellier.
So that's a good little shout there from Rob about saying Huddersfield Town.
Yeah, they didn't sign anyone really,
No.
did they? No.
I'm going to say, for mine, just because of how it ended, not saying because they signed a good few players at the start, but Man United,
Man United, do you think? Fred?
you look at, that's what I mean, they started well, but at the end of it, every single target they went for fell through. Every single one.
Yeah. Do you think that's because of Mourinho though?
I at a certain point, do you listen to Mourinho when he says he's given the names of the players he wants to his board, and then it's up to his board to sign the players? So it's a bit of, where does the blame lie? Does it lie with Mourinho, or does it lie with the board not paying the fees that these clubs want for these players?
Yeah, like West Ham, like Pellegrini said he wants that Anderson, and West Ham done everything in their power to sign him.
Yeah.
That was his top transfer.
Exactly.
And he got it.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's what always used to bug me about Arsenal transfers in a way. For so many seasons, we would try and haggle over the price so much for a player that we just wouldn't get them. And I think that's maybe what happened with Man United this year. They tried to haggle so much with Leicester over Harry Maguire, or Gundogan was a bit of a weird one today.
Yeah.
Because not Gundogan, sorry, what am I saying? Godin. Godin was a bit of a weird one today because apparently his agent contacted Man United and said he wants to come, only to then he basically used Man United as leverage to get a new contract with Atletico Madrid.
Just the normal nowadays. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
But it was weird the fact that it all happened within the space of about 3 hours. But yeah, I think Man United just, not so much bad window in terms of signing players, but a bad window in terms of the way they went about it. Because towards the end, they absolutely just fell through in every transfer they had. Jason, who do you think had a bad transfer window?
For me, I'm going to say one of our teams again. Sorry, Rob, mate, but I think West Ham. I think with the team you've now got, I personally believe, with the team you've got, you're going one of two ways. You're finishing in the top 8, 9 teams, or you're finishing in the bottom 3. I think you've got a lot of players you've brought in. I think you've brought in a lot of players, a lot of big names and a lot of big egos. I think players like Perez, Wilshere, Carlos Sanchez, to some extent Fabianski, Yarmolenko, Felipe Anderson. These players know they could get bigger clubs.
Yeah, that's true.
They all have massive egos.
I think it's whether they can gel as a team.
Exactly that. I think if they gel and they gel quick, you're finishing higher top off.
Yeah.
I'd say Europa League easily, but if they can't, I think you're having a season of struggle where a lot of them players are going to be a next to each player.
I don't think we'll struggle. I think it may take to about January time for us to turn it round. But I think apart from that, it's one, like you say, it's one way. If we can gel soon, then we're going to do well. If we can't, then God knows where we're going to finish.
Fair play, fair play. If you agree or disagree with any of the options we said there, then feel free to comment on YouTube, Twitter, or absolutely anything. Send us a letter if you want to. Anyway, last thing on the transfer market we'll talk about is we'll have one name each, no sort of extra discussion about it, one name each, yeah. Who do you think should have moved but made a mistake by staying at their club?
I think Grealish.
Jack Grealish?
Yep.
Fair play.
Can I make one comment about that though?
Go for it.
That wasn't his. That wasn't his doing.
I'll agree there. He did come out and openly say
he wanted to go. But apparently, if you read into speculation, Aston Villa told him this summer he could go if a bid of 25 million or more was put on the table, and apparently it was, and they still turned it down.
A lot of that was to do with the new owners, though. But anyway, Anyway, Lee, for you, who should have moved but didn't? That has caught your eye?
I'm gonna say Harry Maguire, but once again, that's more on Leicester than it was on Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, once again, I think made his preference perfectly known that he wanted to go to Man United. But Leicester didn't get the fee they want. And Leicester had been known, back in January with Morris, to not let the player go for anything more than anything less than what they think they're worth. And they held their ground. And in the end of it, this season, Harry Maguire's going to stay a Leicester player. Jason, you got a player in mind for who you think should have gone but didn't?
For me, to be honest with you, obviously there's still time, but for me, I personally think, seeing as they didn't improve their squad at all, I think Harry Kane made a mistake signing the contract.
Do you really?
For the sheer fact, Ronaldo went Juventus, Real Madrid have got that big player opening slot with the money to fill it. He signed himself down to a six-year contract. He ain't going to go anywhere now. He's lost that chance.
Does he do to a lesser... I'm going to say a lesser extent, but Tottenham fans will disagree with me when I say this, but is he going to do to a lesser extent a Thierry Henry? Give them one season at the new ground to show them what they want, and then maybe try and take a move next season if Tottenham don't challenge or get a piece of silverware this season?
Could be an idea. If you agree or disagree, feel free to comment. So, moving on again, pretty swiftly, staying on the subject of Tottenham there. New stadium, Lee, this is a question I wanted to ask you for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Their new stadium, you're an Arsenal fan, you went through the 10 years or so of mediocre Marion Shamak signings.
Yes, we refer to those years as the Shamak Benayoun years, yes.
Exactly that. You went through those years. Do you see Tottenham going down the same route? Now they've got the new stadium and the debt to pay off?
I think it's impossible not to.
Do you think that's why they didn't sign any players, or do you think there's more to it?
I think that, as I said before, it seems like they prioritise signing players down to contracts instead of buying new players, which is a way to go. But you look at the things of, if you needed strengthening, then you need to go out and strengthen. But a new stadium is going to have debt, so whether they had to climb the budget that way, I don't know. But new stadium, there's no debt. New stadium, there's always going to be debt. There's always going to be, and especially, I don't think, I'm probably wrong when I say this, but when we first built our stadium anyway, there wasn't the thing of, there wasn't the financial fair play regulations as intense as there are now.
You could get away with it a bit more.
A bit more when we built, exactly that, when we first built our new stadium, where we can't now. Like, I read today actually on Twitter that Tottenham are the first team since the summer transfer window was introduced in 2003 to not sign a single player. And you sit there and go, that's for a team in the top six. How
it is unheard of.
It's unheard of.
Rob?
Especially a team that's in the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. A team in the top six.
Like, they're not going to compete against a team such as Juventus, Real Madrid, Barcelona. No. They're not going to compete. They needed to bring players in, but I honestly do believe it's because of their stadium that they've gone, we can't really bring anyone decent in, so is there any point bringing anyone at all who's not going to add to our squad? Are we just going to bring in bench players? players who will just cover when a player's injured?
Yeah.
Or do they go, right, let's just not spend anything for a little while, just pay off the stadium, and as soon as we have the stadium, we can attract bigger players. We've got a better stadium, more money because more fans. Like, maybe is that what they was thinking by not signing anyone in his transfer window? Don't know if you agree with that, Jace.
No, I personally think that the stadium has significantly impacted their financial capabilities. Like they were saying with the financial fair play. I think if they didn't have the stadium and they were still at Old White Hart Lane, would players have stayed there? Like Lee said with the Harry Kane thing, is he could just stay in to give him the season? Would he have gone last season if they hadn't had the new stadium? Maybe. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's all hindsight. You can't tell these things. For me, I think January's going to come about and they're going to have a massive shock and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think in January, Tottenham fans are going to enjoy it. Like I said, I like Tottenham. I hate seeing them going through this because I think they should personally be fighting for titles and stuff. I think they play excellent football. However, can I see them doing anything this season? Personally, no. Going on to that though, what I just said there about can I see him doing anything this season? Boys, who do we think is going to be the winner? Teams going down, and who's going to cause the biggest shock in the league? Start with you, Robert.
Well, I think you can't put it past Man City to win the league again. Just the team Man City have got, I can't see anyone beat them. I know Liverpool will probably give them a good go, but I just can't see anyone challenging Man City for the title.
Okay, Man City to win for you. Who do you think is going to go down?
Well, I think definitely going down this season, I would say Cardiff. Then I think Southampton's going to go down this year as well.
I think Southampton, really.
But I'm not quite sure the third team. I think it's going to be against a few teams. I think even maybe Leicester may be down there.
Do you think Mahrez will impact them that much?
I think so, especially with Maguire wanting to move to Man United and how he's still there. Is it going to affect his performance? What do you think, Lee?
Lee? Actually, no, hang on, Rob. Hang on a second, Rob. Don't try and skip out the shock team contender.
Okay, my fault. I forgot about that. The shock team, I'd say this year, and I was about to say Burnley again, but Burnley shocked us last season, so I don't know whether I can sort of justify saying that because they've brought Hart in, which I think will be a decent signing for him, especially with Pope and Heaton both out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how long they're out for, but they have a decent keeper there until they come back. And they've brought in players that they need as well. And Sean Dyche knows how to get the best out of his players.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, for me, as everyone says, I can't see anything past the Man City winning the title. I think Man City are going to absolutely trounce it. They will lose maybe 2 games, 3 games. They're not going to lose a lot. I don't see them doing the season unbeaten. But again, I never see anyone do that. But that's me. I don't think that'll ever be repeated. But yeah, I just don't see anyone beating Man City for the title at all. They're too strong. I mean, they didn't even sign that many players this transfer window. They brought Mahrez, which once again just adds depth in a position in an attacking force that is already filled with stars. Relegation is, I think Huddersfield's time might be up in the Premier League this season. I think last season they did very well to stay up from what they was. I think Brighton may go down, and then after that, Cardiff maybe. Cardiff's a good call to go down. I think Fulham will stay up.
So who's your shock contender, Andy?
I think it's going to be West Ham. I think with the signings, if they gel well, West Ham will get a very good Europa League top half finish. Jason, what's your thoughts on who wins?
Right,
Who goes down?
For me, I'm going to do this back to front. I think my shock team, for me, is going to be Fulham. I think Surrey alone, Sessegnon there as well, Kearney staying. I think they could have a cracking little season. I don't think they'll get like Europa League or whatever, but I think they've definitely got the potential to top 10 it, personally. Relegation, for me, Bournemouth, Cardiff, Burnley. I think with the added stretch of European football and the fact that they're playing the exact same amount of games they did last season, they started to fade towards the end. I think that through.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that they've got all of these extra Thursday nights if they get in.
Yeah.
Is it going to affect them? Who knows? It could twist them the complete opposite way. But other than Joe Hart, who have they really strengthened? Where are they strengthening that squad? The squad where they need, if they wanted to stay up that high again, they need better players.
That's a good point.
Joe Hart is, don't get me wrong, his day's good, but it doesn't very rarely has his day.
True.
I think Bournemouth and Cardiff could join them. I think Bournemouth are the same reason as Burnley. Really, they haven't improved. They haven't really added. They've got rid of Harriata, who in my eyes was arguably their player of the season.
Yeah.
Like, to win the league, it pains me dearly to say this. I think Arsenal could have it.
Really? You really?
I think the players are going to be fighting a hell of a lot more now for Emery to prove that they don't do that standard. I say standard, what Man United had with David Moyes. To prove they're not going to do that. I think them players could absolutely fight for their lives now. They could absolutely turn on the style. First game this season, if you look at their pre-seasons, they turned everyone over. They very rarely looked like they were struggling.
So what are you saying? Well, they relaxed under Wenger?
I don't even think it was relaxed under Wenger. I think they're playing more relaxed now. I think they're playing happy football, if you want to call it that. I think they're playing like they want to play.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stress last season.
Exactly that. I think with the fans on their back all the time, it doesn't help a player wanting to play football. I think now, everyone's not sure what's going to happen, so the players are going into the mindset of, let's try and get something, let's try and get the fans back on side, let's try and do something here, lads. Yeah. I think that dressing room at the minute, what have they got to lose? Let's go for it. Do you know what I mean? Emery goes, he's only just turned up. He's not like, oh no, we've got to impress Arsene Wenger, he's been here long enough, been alive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true, it's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
So I could see Arsenal having a cracking season. Well, at the same time, it could be like Man United, just nowhere near as good.
Yeah. Or they're standing fourth place finish.
Yeah, or standard back to being fourth again.
Yeah, exactly that.
Right, so right now, Lee wants to make one more point before we wrap this up.
Yeah, I just want to say, because we've all got our different teams here, because I'm an Arsenal fan, Jason here, a Chelsea fan, Rob, you're a West Ham fan. But a little bit about our own, because where do you think Jason, where do you think Chelsea's going to finish? Where do you think Chelsea's going to go this year?
For me, personally, I think...
fan note.
I think, as a fan, our midfield now, adding Jorginho and Kovacic, our midfield is arguably the best in the league at the minute. Bar Man City, a midfield three of Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic, with Fabregas, Loftus-Cheek, do you know what I mean? Like, realistically, I think our midfield could do it for us this year. You got to look at Jorginho and Kante. They're two players that will chase every single ball down and get that ball forward. I think that could be a lot. I think we've not done well by not replacing Morata, but not improving on Morata and Giroud. But I think if Sarri gives Batshuayi a chance, if Kepa settles in quickly, this could be our season again.
Interesting.
I think West Ham. I think we'll get 7th this year. I think a top 7 finish. I think that's under Pellegrini. He wants to play attacking football. He's brought in the players he wanted. He's got attacking options that can come on, change games. So for me, I think a top 7 finish for us would be option for me. What about you, Lee?
I mean, Arsenal, as you think, we've made good signings, new manager. It's going to be an interesting season, but I can see probably we're going to make a very good challenge for the top 4, more of a challenge than we did this season. I think, but the top 4 is so congested. Like the top 4, to get into that top 4, it's such a tight battle that who we push out for that, I don't know.
See, I think we've all agreed already. Tottenham probably aren't going to be up there. So it already comes down to a Liverpool, City, United, Arsenal, Chelsea. It's the one thing with Tottenham. As much as I'd love to, you can't count them out. Yeah,
they are a very good side.
And like I say, Kane on his day,
exactly that.
Can win anything.
Any game. Can win you 3 points on any day of the week.
All right, so thank you for joining us on our first podcast back. as the technical area. Next week we're hoping to be joined by Kieran, who was at 5 at the back, who is currently in Madrid as he was the secret to getting the Courtois deal over the line. If you think I'm joking, follow his Twitter. He genuinely posted a picture on there of him at the stadium. Anyway, we'll also be joined, hopefully, by a special guest. If you've listened to us before, you might have heard his name mentioned. If not, who knows? But tune in next week to find out if you do. If you disagree or you agree with any of our points in this podcast, then feel free to comment on Twitter or YouTube and give us your thoughts on where we can improve. Thanks for listening. Thank you from me.
Thank you from me.
Thank you from me.
Catch us again next week.